Friday, so traffic's not that bad. So I thought I'd do a quick video of what's going on right now. So last year in February, I decided to give up alcohol because I just wanted to challenge my brain and my body of how to different ways to deal with stress. And I had experienced a lot of loss last year. I had 3 deaths within 2 months of each other, back to back of close family members, and I wanted in a way to honor their memory of me, to not drown or try to ignore the sorrow or the grief, even by socially drinking. So that is also one of the main reasons why I decided to give up alcohol for a year. So that was in February of 2018. It is now January of 2019. And I honestly didn't know if I was going to make it through the whole year. And I was in a lot of social scenes. I still went to bars. I still went out with friends. I still hung out in social scenes where, casually there'll be wine. And, people at home still drink wine. And so I think I did pretty good for the challenge. Of course, sometimes I was tempted of, oh man, I'm stressed out, and a glass of wine would help me relax, but I wanted to try to find different ways to relax. So that is what I did this year, and my 1 year is coming up, and I was given a gift to go to a really nice winery that I've been wanting to try. So that will be kind of like my 1 year celebratory of not drinking. But then after that, I was like, do I keep on going? Do I stop and just go back to how I was? Prior I wasn't really a heavy drinker anyways, but having the option to drink, right, your behavior changes. And so I was like, maybe I will go ahead and continue. Maybe in social scenes I'll do it, but not try to maybe do it at home, because I found myself when out the year of drinking, I felt so clear-headed. I felt so, intact with my emotions, with being more aware of how I dealt with certain situations. And so I found cooking. I decided to bring up cooking again. I decided to start baking from scratch again. I used to do a lot of that in college. In college, I also didn't heavily drink. And so that was a stress reliever for me of baking. And the bad side about it is, of course, I'm eating the cookies, but luckily there's now people there to share it. And my daughters also enjoy the cookies because I don't allow them to have much processed foods, and any of the treats that they do have, sweet treats, I prefer that it be homemade, so I know exactly what's going into it. And I think another thing is that we forget that there's other ways to relieve stress. And I'm not trying to deem people who do drink bad. It's definitely fine. I drank before, but I wanted to challenge myself and my body to go outside of my comfort zone. And I think that was more of my New Year's resolution. And so this stupid car is in my lane. And so anyways, I think that was more of my New Year's resolution. And I succeeded. I definitely did. And so this year I decided to not necessarily go on a diet, but to eat more healthy. And so when I had the twins, after I had the twins, I was diagnosed with something recti, where it's basically when I was pregnant that my stomach stretched so far enough that my muscles became detached from my skin. And so the doctor was like, well, you can lose your belly fat and see if that helps, because it hangs. It has this weird shape. And then also when I do try to use my ab, it feels really uncomfortable. My muscles are a little bit more tense than prior to when I was pregnant. And then when I'm standing too long and I'm not wearing a tummy supporter, then it starts to get really sore and it affects my back. And so if I don't, if losing the belly fat doesn't help and working out to help re-strengthen those muscles, then the only other route is to go through surgery. And I honestly don't want to be opened up again. I probably, if it came down to surgery, I probably wouldn't do it until I decided to stop having kids. So that way, my body doesn't have to take on that stress. And then what about if it happens again with the next pregnancy? And so I think that's like my New Year's resolution, to challenge my brain and my body, is to eat more healthy, and not trying to make it a diet, but trying to make it a lifestyle. And so I downloaded this app, Under Armour, and it helps you track like your calories. And not only does it help you track your calories, but it looks at what you're eating and how that falls in your nutrition level with your weight loss goals. And so it's like, oh, well, you're still within your calories for today, but this has too much sodium, so you're not gonna, you're not gonna see the weight loss results that you want. And so I think that's something else that, although I may stop the whole no drinking thing, I will have something else for my body and my brain to focus on. I think it's always good to just challenge yourself so that you see growth. And it's gonna be hard because I grew up on carbs. Like, I don't think I don't think a meal is complete without rice. And so having that mind frame, it's really hard, because carbs take a lot of your calories. And it's not necessarily that I'm starving myself, it's I'm gonna find replacements for not eating rice, like vegetables. I can probably eat like a cup of rice and it'll be like the same equivalence of calories as a cup, like 2 cups of vegetables. And then like also changing my eating habits of like maybe eating just chicken, not so much more like beef or cow as much, because that's also a lot of fatty foods. And honestly, I feel a lot more better about myself. I'm more alert, I'm more awake with this change. I mean, it's only been 10 days, but so far, like, I have really enjoyed it. And it has been a struggle. It's not like I'm not eating candy, I just eat like the bite-sized candies, right? So I'm not gonna just sit there and peg out on candy. It's all about moderation. And I think this is one of the things, again, about this, it benefits my daughters definitely, of like, hey, this is what mommy's eating this, the meat with a side of vegetables. We don't always have to eat everything with rice. But that being said, it also becomes very difficult to eat in certain scenes, because you have like the fast food and everything, and that is hard, because when I'm tired after work and the twins want to eat, like, I have to go home and cook, or I have to go to like like a mom and pop shop and get my food from there. And so yeah, that's currently where I'm at with my journey. I will let you guys know how my first time drinking alcohol in a year goes, and I'm pretty sure my tolerance is going to be shot, especially since I'm going to a wine tasting. And so it's going to be interesting. So I know at that point, I don't think I'm going to keep with my calorie count, because I feel like I'm going to have to like eat a good amount of carbs in order to soak up the alcohol, even though wine tasting might just be a little bit. So thank you guys for tuning in for my short car ride rant, and I hope you guys are having a good new year and that the resolution works for you guys. And if it doesn't, don't give up, go back at it.